Pleasant good morning, one and all. Good morning. Pleasant good Monday morning, one and all. Welcome to the Monday's episode of Speaking Out, exposing corruption, incompetence. Today is Monday, the 20th day of October, in the year of our Lord 2025. Welcome, welcome. And as you come on, share the live. You know, today is a public holiday in Guyana. I don't know how many persons got the notification that we still have classes today. I remember on Friday when we last met, we weren't certain, but then we took a decision that holiday or no holiday, we're going to come to bring you credible, valuable information, and the notification was posted sometime yesterday afternoon. So just call a student, call a fellow student, let them know that we're on, and as usual, we have lots to tell you this morning. Again, happy Diwali to the Hindu community, Hindu brothers and sisters. You know, these holidays now don't really take out, even though they're religious, but all people from all the religions observe. I don't know if they celebrate, but they observe. So today, Diwali is a Hindu holiday. When you have a Muslim holiday, everybody, then you have Christians holiday like Easter and Christmas. Everybody observe it, man. Not everybody observe. That is the way we should live. So happy Diwali to all the Guyanese who are observing. And today, Monday, the 20th day of October, another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks to being in the land of the living. It is a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should never, ever take that for granted. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, program schedule, or the gates were open at 8, and immediately we had many, many students pouring in to the schoolyard. Then when we went live, when the school doors were open a while ago, more keep pouring in. So yeah, share. My colleague Cece is in the studio, waiting to join, to share the credible, valuable information. And you know, the usual thing, we're gonna do the roll call, recognize those who came in early, and then we're gonna move to the other announcements and straight into the program this morning. So much to tell you, so much to tell you. So in terms of the roll call, as I said, we're gonna recognize those who come early. 8 o'clock on the dot, we have Peter, also Wayne from the UK, Derek, Winston from California, and Danny. Danny is saying pleasant Monday. Marcia, Paulette, Anthony Bradshaw, Peter's all in the East Bank, Kenneth from Maryland, then you had Diane, Charlene, Earl, Emerson, Pastor Smith is here, Paulette, Carl, they all came at 8, and shortly after we have Raul, Patrick from the UK, Marcia, Caesar, Vashti, then from Canada, Aubrey, Brian, Moses, Umi is here all this morning, Carlton, my squad mate, then we had Brennan, Joan from New Amsterdam, Rhonda, Brenda, Jacko from Georgia, Floyd, they all came shortly. They came at 8 to 1, then Compton and Sandra, Oral, Mary, then Courtney, Denise, and the list goes on and on and on. Rosalind, Pamela, and then when the doors were open, we had others who came in. Let me see what the first set of people who came in on the YouTube. The first, Edward Charles, not surprising. Edward Charles is here very early. Then we have Rhonda, Steve, then it was Wills, then Donna, Matthew, Rosie Rose, Raquel, Simone, Lennox, and the list goes on. The list goes on. So welcome. Share the live, and give you a thumbs up as you come in. You know, we always comment, you know what we are moving towards 600 on the live, and we get 29 thumbs up. Not doing well, even though Umi will implore you guys to give the thumbs up, man. Show your appreciation, right? So let's move on for the announcements. Start with the sad ones first. Well, I don't think we have any order to report at this time. We have some updates to give, but we're gonna wait for the next program to give you those updates. We have some significant issues to talk about in relation to debts. But let's give the other announcements, the up here ones, and then we're going to come back to that. Now, I don't have any board anniversary today, but I note that tomorrow is the board anniversary of retired member Thomas Noble, 0650. Was Reynolds, and then he became Noble. Can't remember what rank he retired at, inspector, assistant superintendent, I'm not sure, but he is observing a natal day tomorrow. And I got information that ex-corporal 11058 Terence Erskine is also observing a natal day tomorrow. So I want to wish all those who are observing, where you observed today, whether it was mentioned or not, you observed recently, and you're observing in the near future, all the best on your natal day. All the best to you on your natal day. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, and then we're going to move on. PC, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. It's a privilege. I attended the viewing of the late Sergeant Tapin, who was an immigration officer. I mentioned died in London, they brought back her body, and I was impressed with the turnout there. Quite a number of retired police, ex-police were there. Can't recall seeing any serving member brigade police force there. So I want to shout out to some of them, especially my girls. Dorothy was there, Marva was there, Claire was there, Grace was there, Monica was there, Lynette was there. I didn't see Lorraine. I understand Lorraine has gone overseas, and I think she was represented by her sister. But I miss out one. I miss out the queen of the pack, Ingrid Wiltshire. Ingrid, I didn't see you there. And perhaps I have to get somebody to serve you with a notice for absent from duty. But then you're such an excellent student that in case you default, I'm going to temper the scales of justice with mercy. And also I want to shout out to two pastors. Paul, you called it one already, Pastor Smith, and then Pastor Charles from West Coast Borbies. Continue to pray for us and continue to pray for the nation of this guy and his nation. They need your prayers.
Well, exactly, because it seems as though things are going so awry that we need divine intervention. We need divine intervention. You know what we said? Hardly a week goes by when you don't have a murder, some fatal accident, or some disaster. I'm reading this morning that there was a murder last night, and this is West Rhineville woman gone down during robbery. It's been reported tragedy once again struck the West Rhineville community in Georgetown on Sunday night when 24-year-old Fenel Brewster was gunned down in her yard as a bandit chased after her brother in an attempt to rob him. The incident took place just after 11 p.m. It is suspected that the brother, who was out earlier, was followed back home by a motorcycle riding bandit who then chased after the man as he went into his yard. The young man managed to run into the house, escaping the bandit. However, the bandit, according to persons in the area, opened fire in the yard, shooting the 24-year-old Fayette Brewster in the chest and one on her arm. The woman collapsed in her yard while the gun-toting bandit escaped on the motorcycle. She was rushed to the hospital where doctors pronounced her dead. The identity of the gunman is unknown, but investigators have been checking the area for CCTV cameras that might have captured the incident. There have been growing incidents of armed robberies in the East and West Rhineville communities over the past few months, worrying law enforcement. Just over a month ago, a local singer, Lolita Calenda, aka Lola Doll, was shot multiple times in her car just after arriving in front of her West Rhineville home. She survived the attack, but her shooter remains at large. Investigation into last night's incident are ongoing this morning. And apart from that too, about a week ago, I think we reported here that some man was found with gunshot wounds, a wound to his head. That is what was reported. On unidentified man found with gunshot wound in Middle Road, the penitence. And they will tell you that, well, crime is down. It might be down, serious crime might be down, but the fear of crime is there. This is an innocent woman in the yard. Bandit chased after her brother, opened fire on the brother, missed the brother, struck and killed her. Struck and killed her, right? And, it is really, really sad. I want to express condolences to the relatives, friends, and associate of this woman. Young woman, 34, the thing they say she is, going about her business peacefully, going about her business, shot and killed. 24-year-old. 24, I said 34 earlier. 24-year-old, shot and killed. Prime of your life. And it continues. It continues. Guns are easily available, right? And you have people who are willing to use it. This article that I just read from News Source referenced the Lolita Kalinda shooting. That has gone cold. We knew that they said they had arrested someone they suspected to be the mastermind. They had issued a wanted bulletin for him. He turned himself in. And then they said that when she regained consciousness, she called a name. And the thing about that, they tell you what alibi. Alibi what? If a person is alleged to have set up a murder, what alibi they can provide to say that they set it up? They're not accused of committing the crime, being the principal in the first degree. They're accused of setting it up, organizing it. So I don't know what alibi, how we can get an alibi to say that you were not involved in that. I don't know that. I don't know how that will be, right? So again, sad story, sad. And as I said, I think it was last week, Middle Road, man found with gunshot wound to his head. He was unidentified. I don't know if they have identified him as yet, but that looked like another unsolved crime we're gonna get. That is what we are going to have. Let me bring in CC to comment on that. CC, another murder.
Well, I've said before, that when the PPP are wrong, the track record is you got to get plenty deaths, plenty murders, or fatal accident, or suicide, or some kind of thing there. You got to get fire. You got to get drugs, and you got to get endless corruption. Those things are manifesting themselves. Well, my sympathy to the relative of that young lady who was so brutally murdered at her home there, And then, we want to know they get so much of thing and so much of unsolved, and you're not hearing what the forensic doing. What the forensic doing? They got a big lab at the back of the UG. What is that? What happening there? And we get a forensic scientist now, like a cancer scientist, a person who study forensic science for years in Russia, and she's now the head of the police training section. Those kind of things there that we need to ensure that we do proper forensic there, because lockout theory exchange say something will be left there, or the perpetrator will carry something, the theory of exchange. And if you process a crime scene properly, you look for forensic evidence, you might find a shot button, you might find a strand of hair, you might find some other thing which could and which will make you able to solve the crime. But they are not processing scene as they ought to, and they're giving up scenes too early. Do more forensic, especially at the scenes of crime.
Yeah, well said. They need to do, again, it is about the transparency. One don't expect any police force to solve all crimes, but it's how you approach, how you handle, how you relate to the public to try to instill some level of confidence that you're doing what is acceptable to the average person. That is what people want to know, right? But then you're going to come out and you're going to say, oh, serious crimes are done. Quote some figures. But you're not going to tell them when you talk about serious crimes, you're talking about a very limited number of crimes. You're not going to say that. Serious crimes. So when you talk about serious crimes, you're not going to let them know that although you're going to talk about drugs, possession of firearm and ammunition and all of those things, you're not going to tell them that when you report on serious crimes, those statistics are not included in the report. You will not tell them that. And that is part of the problem because people are fearful. That is the reality. When you read something like what happened there last night, man pursued, that is what the report is saying. Our brother, the deceased brother, was pursued by a motorcycle bandit. The man running yard, running house, bandit run behind him and discharge rounds in the yard and kill his sister. Discharge round in the yard. So she's in the yard and she's not safe. The man ran into his home and was pursued, so he too ain't safe. And they tell you all sort of things. The new minister was made to quote some statistics and so on. But Minister, I hope you're realizing now that statistics are statistics. But the reality is people live in fear. People are fearful of what is going on. I have seen, and now in the days of social media, you see many of these incidents captured on CCTV camera for the world to see. So you can come with whatever release you want to come with. People think differently. People see what is going on. People relate to others what is really going on. And you really can't escape that. Now, we said there was another death. The death of a former athlete, Dennis Collison. We reported it some 2 weeks ago. Dennis died in California, somewhere there. He died. And, I remember during that era, Dennis Collison, James Wren Gilks, June Griffith, we had an outstanding athletic team during that, around in the mid-70s. As a matter of fact, I remember well the 1976 Olympics, in the lead up to the 1976 Olympics, which was held in Canada. We were confident as Guyanese that we would have gotten, we would have medaled in that Olympic because James Wren Gilks and others were dominating certain categories. James Wren Gilks dominating the sprint 100 and 200 meter and so on. And when I said dominating on the world stage, and we were certain, we were anxiously awaiting our first medal at the Olympic. But that was not to be because of the Cold War and the boycott of that Olympic. The boycott, so James Wren did not get to take part. And if you remember, the Aisley Crawford from Trinidad won the 100-meter sprint. And records will show that Aisley Crawford, in the lead up to the Olympic, had never beaten James Wren Gilks from Guyana. He was the man. James Wren Gilks was the man. And certainly if James Wren did not get a gold medal, he was bound to medal. He was a sure shot to medal, and you had others. And what happened? After then, we have had one single medal at the Olympic. Guyana, one single medal. Michael Paris, the boxer, I think that was 1980, he won a bronze medal at the Olympic. And that's the next Olympic that was boycotted too by some other countries. So the question that I raised this to say, we have a Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sports, and they're throwing another minister in the same thing. Stephen Jacobs is now the junior minister in the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. What are they doing to develop our athletes? Not only the track and field athletes, but athletes in general. What are they doing? You have a ministry like run out and bump up your gum, right? What do they have to show? Barbados, Trinidad, don't even mention Jamaica, recently St. Lucia, you get the Bahamas, all those countries are producing world-class athletes. But what are we doing? What are we doing? And talking. Even cricket in Guyana. Where are we in terms of cricket, one of the sports that we did well in over the years? What are we doing? Boxing, for example. We dominated boxing in this region for a number of years, dominated. But what is happening? You get the ministry, what are they doing? What is the ministry doing? I believe a ministry like a ministry of youth culture and sport, culture, youth and sport should be judged by the performance of the athletes, how many people they're turning out and so on. But I don't know, they're just judging them. You put in a new minister there, I guess it's only for Giddy buy still money. Friends, family, and favorite. Friends, family, and favorite. But I checked, and I think the only two sports that have been doing us proud over the years consistently would be squash and full bore shooting. Every tournament they take part in squash, they bring medals dominating in certain categories and so on. And then when we talk about full bore shooting, of which I was a part for a number of years, we dominated in the Caribbean, and we held our own in the further afield. Well, apart from that, what is happening? And let me say this about the shooting, because I have noted a decline in recent times. I have noted a decline. So one of the sports that we did so well with seems that we are now declining. And we got to wonder, therefore, what is the Ministry of Culture, Youth, and Sport doing? What are they doing? What Charles Ramsey, you're calling out Junior? Tell us what are the programs? All right, they open a track where they carry Lenora, till across the river in Region 3. When records will show that Region 10, Region 4, and the 5 days is days where we have a lot of the athletes coming from. But for politics, they came to Region 3. And then we hear now they're opening something in quarantine and so on. It's just politics. What are they doing to develop our athletes? People go to the Carifta Games, right? And some of the athletes do very well. And what happened thereafter? What program do they have to make sure that they're moving forward? What program? What program? So maybe someone can ask the Minister of Culture, Youth, and Sport, and now that he has a junior minister, maybe we can raise this question. Let me hear what is the program for the development of sports. Maybe you have a try with Troop Trial and Jacks and Domino. Maybe this we got to try with, because in the more established sports we are not doing well. I know we have had two at the Commonwealth level. I was at the Commonwealth Games when Ali and Pompey won the gold. I was at the Commonwealth Games when I don't ever remember this guy name that won the triple jump. We have done. Pompey did come back the next cycle and won a bronze in the same. So she got gold and she got bronze. We have had some athletes who have gone to the Commonwealth Games and have done well. But what happened with the next level at Olympics? What happened? Maybe CC, I know you still have an interest in sports. Maybe you can explain what is going on in the sporting arena. Tell our students, man, what are they doing?
Well, before that, let me just refer to the 1976 Olympics. There's a time when we had opportunity to win more than one medal. That was a super team that we had there, but we at the last moment we boycotted the games. I remember James Ranjix, specialist in the 200 meters. The best thing around the turn. I used to get tackled with he and Dan Quarry from Jamaica. I remember, I think it was a Pan Am Games. You won a gold medal, and I listened to the commentator. It goes something like this, and it's about 50 meters to go, and it's still James Ranjix, and it's Jakes by a mile. You were so good. Here's the Crawford won the 100 meters. He had a dream start, and people say, yeah, like he actually beat the gun, but then that was his day. But that was the Olympics where we should have really won a whole lot of medals. You had June Griffith. I think Collison later married June Griffith. She was a good athlete who led from the front in the 400 and 800 meters. I followed her closely. But what happened in sports now? What happened in the grounds? They don't have proper grounds. But we're living 3 years now. They're trying to get a ground in order. Over 3 years now. At one stage, I wrote a letter to the press and I invited the GDF to come and do part of the jungle warfare training on the ground. And then they pour into action, start do some. But it's over 3 years now and they can't get it to finality. And even what's going on, Linden producing more athletes than anywhere else. They can't get the Linden Sports Club ground and Beirut and other grounds to go on thing there. They're getting in Borbis. They're going for Palmyra and them kind of places, That the grounds are important. Grounds are important. We get some grounds now, you get housing project where you get grounds, or you get some Chinese restaurant or something about the place there. So they need to put more effort to ensure that we start with the basic, the grounds, and then support for the athletes. I think the president had hinted some time ago that he even support, I don't know, but he just bear talk and nothing more, and just kind of seagull management. But the thing is that let's start with the basics. Let's get the grounds going. And I can't put the ground at Lenoro. Who will get time to go across to Lenoro? Put it in a central point. Build grounds place like Linden, where the athletes, Linden athletes are supreme. But two ministers now for one 2 ministers for one ministry there. Let's see what will happen. But they need to do quite a lot more to ensure that we do more for athletes.
Yeah, the triple jumper that I missed his name, Troy Doris. Thank you, student. Troy Doris. We have had in one athletes, right? Unfortunately, we have not been able to at that most senior level, the Olympics, to do any. I can't even recall if we have had athletes reaching to the finals, much less to medal. We send people there and they are eliminated very early, right? So something needs to be done. And I have here a coach, a renowned coach, is saying he totally agree that sports are on the decline because they don't know what they are doing. That is so true. They don't know what they're doing. Everything for them is politics. And people are going to make come to all sort of conclusion. Let me be real, let me be fair, let me be practical. When we talk about athletics, especially track and field, we're talking about a particular ethnic group. Don't let me sugarcoat it. A particular ethnic group. And maybe that is the part of the problem. People are suggesting that because of a particular ethnic group will tend to do well, they are denying them the opportunity to excel. The facilities are not provided for them. That is what is being said, right? That is what is being said. So we hope that they're going to do something much more to promote athletes. Tell us about a program. Don't jump around. I see Jacobs been the other day, make some speech somewhere, and everybody say, yeah, good speech. There's enough talk, big lamp, no oil, enough talk, and you haven't seen the result, right? And then the guy is the only, don't have a, you're right, Master Ghana is the only country in the region don't have a track in the city. They got no track in the city. So we're gonna produce athletes, just like coming back to the cricket. President love cricket themselves. He playing on the talk about developing cricket. If you want to develop, you got to start by making sure you have proper facilities. You have to start by making sure you have proper facilities. Only this couple days before yesterday, I think it was, West Indies one-day team is in Bangladesh. Licks, right? I had the privilege of going to Bangladesh in 2016 with that under 19 team led by Timaya that won that tournament. And I was taken back by the facilities that they have to develop players. I was taken back indoor nets, adjoining training facility, hostel for people to stay. And I was taken back. But what we have, even our best international ground, Providence, is perhaps the worst ground in the region. Perhaps the worst ground. I ain't talking only about the toilet, what they complain about during the CPL. Perhaps the worst ground there is terms of the facilities for players and so on. So what they're talking, what are they saying, right? So it's something that you have to keep on the front burner. Something you got to keep on the front burner. But let me move on. You know, as we said, we told you Friday's a long weekend, today's holiday, and we have a lot of birthdays. We missed it earlier. A lot of birthdays today. A lot of birthdays. Diwali Day, the darkest night in the year, they said. They said Diwali is the darkest night. And they said those who were born on Diwali night are destined to thief. So you have a lot of people in government and elsewhere who celebrating their birthday today. They born Diwali night. And they born Diwali night, and the parent left them careless, and cat jumped the hand. Bengal tiger jumped the hand. They can't help thieving. They can't help thieving. So today's a birthday. You see, big not for the celebrations, you see. It's not Diwali, really. It's people celebrated their birthday. It's a coincidence that they born on Diwali Day, man. Right? Born on Diwali Day. Thief. Not for them thief. Post Chagi Jarvis, 5151 Jarvis. He said, Bengal tiger jumped the hand. He said a thief so bad. He said, when you're a small thief, maybe a cat, a kitten, jump your hand. But he said some of them, they're thieving so much, you got to be Bengal tiger. That's a Bengal. He said Bengal tiger jumped the hand. That is the story. Bengal tiger jumped the hand. So it's a birthday. I know you are going to recognize them. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate woman, Deputy Superintendent Felisa Peters Finance. I saw them post today. She's observing her 32nd anniversary as a member of the Guyana Police Force. Congratulations to you, and I guess your squad mates as well. I want to also take this opportunity to congratulate the son, I forget his name, of Deputy Commissioner Budram, and the daughter of former leader of the opposition, Joe Armon, and all those others who were recently admitted to the bar to practice law in Guyana. Right? It's always a good thing, a beginning of a great career. So I want to extend congratulations to those persons. CC?
Yeah, I join with you in congratulating them, you know. Budram's son, I know him well. I know him as a little boy, you know, very dedicated. And I think his father really did some good work with him, make a lot of sacrifice financially and others. But the thing is that our children, we need to give them the opportunity for them to develop. I'm not boasting, but all my children went to university and they get master's degree. I can program early. I remember since my daughter was born, my wife used to say, Kim got to go to Bishop's High School. And we program her. Sometimes I used to ride my bicycle some Sunday afternoon and pass strong by Bishop High School and say, Kim, this is the school you gotta go. This is the school you gotta go, you know. I remember we had to get a lot of lessons and all kind of thing. And when she wrote the combination, she got Bishop's High School and then she moved on to university. So I saying give your children the opportunity to do tertiary education, higher education, invest in them. You can't go wrong there. Make and invest them. So let me congratulate Woodramson, I can't remember his name, and all the others who did well.
Right. Coming back to the sports, I see somebody saying every community and housing project should have some ground and so on. But that is the ideal situation. But what they have now, look what happened at the Farnham playing field. They're taking it over. They're not playing field any longer. They're building some school there. They said temporary. I know in Guyana, once it's temporary, the stuff become permanent. Right? Temporary does become permanent. I got a belated birthday to Aileen, man. Aileen Norton, our umpire and dedicated student. She says the good thing her birthday was yesterday and not today. The good thing her birthday was yesterday and not today. Right? So, yeah, Aileen, all the best. Now, let me, as we're in the mood to congratulate, you know, on the last program, I think it was, we congratulated the police officer, Westmoreland, Roger Westmoreland. Cadet, you want on the standard officer scores with the GDF, and he emerged as the best graduating student, right? And then we learned during the program that he was not the first. that we also had Mr. John Baker, who is now a senior superintendent. He was the first policeman to win that coveted prize of being the best graduating student. He get the sword, the presidential sword. Then following the program, I love my students, I love my students. Following the program, they called, I got a call from one of the students to say, well, look, there were other officers, policemen who did well on that program. And I said, because when I looked at the release that was given, and this is some news source, I was to mention it on Friday, because at the end of the article, it said also receiving special awards for outstanding achievement was Second Lieutenant Armand of the GDF, who received the Chief of Defense Staff Prize, Second Lieutenant Bolan of the BDF, I think this Belize Defense Force, who earned both the Best International Student and the Commandant Guyana National Reserve Prize, Cadet Officer Calder of the Guyana Police Force, who received the Colonel Administration Quartering Prize, Second Lieutenant Juanita Semple of the GDF, recipient of the Inspector General Prize, and Second Lieutenant Paul Thompson of the GDF, who was awarded Commanding Officer of Officers. The problem with this release is that they didn't say what these prizes were awarded for. I know back in the day, they will tell you the best shot, best military knowledge, best drill. They didn't say in the release, Gordon, they didn't say that. But the person, the student called me to remind me or to tell me that in John Barker's case, he was the best graduating student in 2010. That was cadet course 42. And he also won 2 other prizes on that course. And then there was a Ron J. Prince, Guyana Police Force, in the same course. He got the best drill. He got a prize to being the best at drill. And then on that same course, one Emnad Shah get a prize to be with the best military knowledge. Emnad Shah, the same man now who the U.S. sanctioned as a drug trafficker. Military knowledge, the man got the best, he was awarded the prize to the best military knowledge. And then in 2009, Otis Garraway was runner-up best student. And he also got a prize for the best military knowledge. And then I think the only female we have here, Joelle Haynes. She got a best shot prize from course 41. And then lastly, say Jermaine Grant got the runner-up prize for runner-up best student prize in 2012 on course 44. So I thought I'll give recognition to those persons as well, to say that many officers or many ranks on the force have gone there and have done well. The question is, however, have they done an analysis to see how these persons have progressed and what is their status now? Because I suspect some of these people just fall by the wayside. Because as we said on Friday, you take people as constables and perhaps very junior, well, most of them constables, you send them on this course for a year or so, during which time they don't learn about policing, they don't learn to be police officers. Then they come back into the force, and you expect them to perform as police officers when you don't have a proper program to train them. There's no proper mentoring. And that is why many of them fall by the wayside. Because obviously, well, in most cases, let me say in most cases, the fact that they're selected, that they must have shown some type of potential in most cases. So it is for the system. And that used to be there in the past. So when they come back, you make sure that they are properly trained. In the first case, when that standard military officers course started in 1980, where police participated for the first time in 1980, it wasn't constables that they were sending. They were sending ranks of the force who were already versed in policing, versed. Then all of a sudden the thing watered down to constables who know nothing about policing. They go there 1 year, they come back as officer, and they still don't know nothing about policing. And you don't have a program for them to be trained. So who are you going to blame? You're going to blame them? You have to blame the system. I would love for them to do an analysis. I did one when I was at the Staff College in 1994, tracing the history of cadet officers in the force from 1958 on to when, I think the last person was when retired Assistant Commissioner David Ramnarine was a cadet. I did that in 94, so around just before then, he was a cadet. Last. I don't know if they're doing, check these people who went through, see how many of them are fallen by the wayside. I recall in 2008, when the president and Jack, they say, well, 50 cadets. They identified 25 police and sent them out of the training school. Some of them came, 25. I understand very early, 9 of them fell out from the program, and the 16 went through. What has happened to those people? That is what you got to do. You got to check to see if this thing is working. Because why keep sending people? I think it's 7 you send this time. You keep sending them, and then when they come back, you're not getting the result that you desire. Why? Why? So I know CC have something to say about that, but I wanted to make sure that I recognize those persons who did well on other courses as well. CC?
Yeah, Paul. Those persons who did well, you mentioned them. We should congratulate them. And also, there is a course, that I coordinated as an assistant superintendent. They had a lot of cadets came from the army who went on the SMOC, Standard Military Officer course, and some became ASP, assistant superintendent, some were cadet officers. But I discovered they were lacking in terms of basic policing, and I was ordered to design, develop, and implement a training program for them. I think it's about 4 months in classroom. Assistant Commissioner Ray Paris was the man there. And we did a whole sort of thing in terms of prosecution, in terms of disciplinary procedure, in terms of financial regulation, leadership, and a whole thing. And it was highly competitive. And I remember Ivla Whitaker, who later retired as an assistant commissioner. He won the Baton Rouge for the we call it the cadet house course, but they were assistant superintendent on it. People like Claudius Fraser, Sonny Singh, Charapal Singh, um, you had Rocky Blair, and Paulette Morrison. She was the first female cadet officer. They were all on that program, which was very, very extensive. And then we had a big ceremony, they passing out, and Whitaker got the button of honor. But the thing is, you send them on the army. I mean, the only plus for me, it might be called for good cooperation, good camaraderie between the army and the police. Because they soldier will they live about police with them. But the thing is that when they return, they got to get a lot of job rotation. I mentioned before, you got a lot of job in enlargement, job enrichment. And I ain't talking about enrichment like the commissioner and Brutus and them ain't talking about enrichment in terms of the knowledge of the job. And I talk about mentoring. But it's difficult now to find mentors for them. That you have structured report on them. Maybe every 6 months, somebody will write something on them, this kind of thing. That the thing gotta be structured, but most of them are lost in the woodwork. They're lost. You send them there, and they're there, fall in and cover down, and nobody really mentoring them, nobody monitoring them to see what they're doing. They have tremendous potential for growth and development. I could tell you that, but the police gotta harness their desire. They gotta train them. They gotta train them. They gotta mentor them. They gotta make sure that they do the correct thing. But the thing is that they just, hey, come out from army, transfer them left, right, and center about the place with no thought behind it. They are the future. They have tremendous potentials for growth and development, but you need to harness their desire or they get lost.
Yeah, they get lost in the woodwork. They get lost. So again, that is word of advice, word of wisdom to them. And I suspect the program that you refer to, something must be still laying right in, it is still there. Something is there, still there, right? And I'm gonna put up somebody sent me, I've lost sent me the picture of that course and the people who were there. Sorry, I didn't get the opportunity. I might get the opportunity to Rocky Blair, Welcome Morrison, Bromell. You have with see Arpo is there as a coordinator, Whitaker with the button shield, Conway. Conway, you had mustache and beard them days, man. Rai Paris, Sonny Singh, Chatterpal Singh, Mirai, it looked like Mirai is there too. And Yvonne Braffett. This boy, Chippy Graham, I see there too. And then there's a guy, this tall by Barlow. I'm going to try to see if I make a picture, put it up, at least if not now, the next program so you can see what I'm talking about. Now moving on, yesterday the 19th of October marks the 42nd anniversary of the the Grenadian uprising or whatever you want to call it. Remember when the Morris Bishop and all those people were killed, right? The 19th yesterday would have been the 42nd anniversary, which led to the intervention of the U.S. into that small island. Because I understand that they were building an airport there, and then the rumor was to the Americans that Cubans were there building a strip to thing, and then one big confusion in the region. The U.S. There's a movie with that invaded there. New Jewel movement, right? Y'all gotta remember these things, Bishop. But let me tell you this. I went on the fort, the top of the place there. I had the privilege to go there once. Fort George, I think it is, at the top. And when you recollect that people jump from there to come down, I said, my lord, when you look at it, you know that you can't survive. It's a steep thing with a whole set of rocks and so on. But people were so desperate that they jumped. That reminded me of 9/11, when I saw images of people jumping through skyscraper to avoid the fire and so on at the top. So yeah, yesterday was the anniversary of that incident, and y'all must always remember that. Always. Now, let me, I think I'm going to leave this one, CC, for now. Let me move into this one. I saw a report that the DPP has ordered an inquest into the death of Delon Lawrence. If you recall, let me refresh y'all. Some of y'all might remember who this person is. A few months ago, there was this incident across the river, West Bank Demerara, where it was alleged, they saw the police at first, that this man, Lawrence, was in a minibus, and he's alleged to have assaulted some woman who was also in the minibus. And they claim that he was pursued by irate villagers, caught and beaten and handed over to the police. The video that surfaced after showed something totally different. The man was dragged from the bus. Whatever allegation was made, he was pulled out of the minibus by some people with big stick, and he was beaten mercilessly. And then was handed over to the police. Police took him to the police station. And he died in the police station. This is the image of him in the police station. He died. Right? And then he was there at the funeral home, West Demerara. They claim unidentified for some time. Then eventually, family members identified him. So this matter, clear case of murder. I guess you can't find who the culprits were easily, because there were several persons we saw. So I don't have the video to show you again, but there were several people with big wood, male with big wood, beating this man, lashing him. And then they called the police. Police took him to the station. Now you have an inquest to determine. An inquest is going to determine if anyone was criminally responsible for his death. Whether they name the persons or not, that is what the inquest is likely to, is intended to determine whether anyone was criminally responsible. But then, so what happened to the action of the police? This is the man who was being beaten, badly beaten, obvious signs of injuries. Police came, took him from the vigilantes, you must say. And what did they do? They took him to the police station where he died. Look him here in the police station on the floor, and cuff on his hand. And cuff on his hand, he died in the police station. Totally inappropriate police action. Totally inappropriate. Because the standing order is clear. A man, anybody is with injuries, you take them to the doctor, take them to the hospital. If they don't have sign of injuries, if a person is in custody and complains of feeling unwell, doctor. I always say, you police, you know the doctor. If the person said they aren't feeling well, take them to the doctor. But in this case, the man is arrested because they handcuffed, and he's taken to the police station. And I'm sure the fact that the man died sometime after, he must have had visible signs of injuries. And what's going to happen to these people? Nothing. Nothing is going to happen. And I'm saying this because of the lack of accountability. That is why you have incidents like these occurring over and over. No one is held accountable. They're going to tell you, OPR investigating. And I am saying that you got to hold people accountable so that the culture, this culture is eliminated. You can't take a person, let's deal with this particular case, man injured, you carry to the police station. What are you taking him there for? You get injuries, you should be taken to get medical attention. And if, as I say again, if a person is in custody and they complain of feeling unwell, you don't see no sign of injuries, so they complain of feeling unwell, you take them to the doctor. That's the standing operational procedure. You take them to the doctor and you cover yourself, make the necessary entries. But no, you carry to the police station. Obviously, once he was taken there, nobody paid much attention to him. Nobody paid much attention. So the man died in the lockup. Died in the station, because he looked at the lockup. Right outside, he looked at the man died. And DVP said, inquest going to be held sometime, because you hold inquest frequently. You're going to inquest sometime, and then the inquest might rule somebody responsible. Persons unknown are responsible for his death, and that's the end of it. That's the end of Salomon Grande. Right? That is the story they have. And those are the things that have to be fixed. Those are the things that have to, because I am saying this, there's a routine matter to deal with. All right, the people were wrong to dispense vigilante justice. You turn up, maybe you know who these persons are. You have this person now in your custody, this man Lawrence in your custody. You have got to take it from there. Let his standing order kick in. Take him to get medical attention. But they didn't do that. Man died in the lockup. I'm sure that if they had done a proper investigation, you hadn't even finding proper records in the station. Not even proper records are going to be there. And if records were, in fact, made at some stage, the records are going to be manipulated and disappear. That magic man who visited Eve Leary and turned cocaine into flour disappear again. Records disappear. That is what you have. So unless those things are corrected, and that requires training, and once you get the training, it's reinforcement and accountability. Because the training can be there, and if when these acts occur, there's no accountability, then it can happen again. It can happen again because people believe they can operate with impunity. That is the story. It is sad. It's sad. Man lost his life, no justice. Because forget about this inquesting, no justice. And bring me to the point, I should have mentioned it earlier, Sergeant Vaughan, 567 days today, Police Sergeant Vaughan. 567 days that a police sergeant was killed, and there's claim on duty. And it's accountability and it's transparency. That is what you have to have. If you want to regain little confidence from the public, that is what you got to do. Deal with these matters. Things are going to happen. And I say this to all them cockroaches who just jump out. Yes, in our times, you had incidents of corruption. You had incidents of unprofessional police behavior, not with the frequency that you have now. And in any event, when they came to attention, proper action was taken. Proper action was taken because we knew what to do. But I got a strong suspicion that many of the people in senior position now and know what to do. Is the blind leading the blind? But they like him, sir. They like it so. Right? Let me bring in Mr. Conway to talk, to make his comments on this, and then we're going to move on. Yes, CC.
Yeah, it's at least they're taking a bit of action. Can't remember when last I heard that the file went to DPP and DPP recommended inquest. And I can't remember when last I heard that a magistrate conducted an inquest. Well, let's see what happened. But the thing is that what has happened with the actions or the lack of actions by the police? Man get injured, visible sign of injury, and instead of you rush him in with breakneck speed to the hospital or the medical facility, you carry at a police station. And you went to two different police stations as far as concerned, till he end up in the hospital. When he died, then they carry him to the hospital. And if they want to know in terms of dealing with prisoners, standing out in number 73, that is standing out there dealing with prisoners. And let me tell you the two instances that I had when I was Commander Borby's division. The other man who apparently they went to kidnap a foreigner to kidnap somebody, a businessman, and the rest disappeared and he was left in the lurch. And the people beat him up. The police at Springlands took him to the Skellen Hospital. The doctor saw him and then sent him back in the custody of the police. I always remember Stephen Mansell. He retired as a senior superintendent. He was my OC at Springlands. And he always used to go to work already. And he used to check. He used to inspect. Remember, inspection is an indispensable tool of management. And when he went in the morning, they said, 4 prisoners in the lockups, alive and well, sir. The man said, well, come let me check them. And when he go in the lockups with the duty SO, there was this man according to man, so say, crump up in a corner, not responding. So he called me. Says, Skipper, what gonna do? I said, what you gonna do? He said, well, I'm gonna carry right away to the hospital. He took him to Skellen Hospital, and in space of 2 hours, the guy died. Died in the lockups. Now, another one, I got a call at something about 3:30 in the morning that a police girl got stabbed up at Whim. She had a relationship with a guy and he stabbed her. But I couldn't find the guy. And then shortly after, the brother of that guy called me and tell me where the guy is. This is brother stab a girl, and he called me and tell me where they could locate his brother. I called the police and I told them where the guy was. They went and they collected him. The same guy again, a friend, I called him by sir, Commando, understand my brother drink poison and I get him in the lockups. So I call Wim police station and the detective assistant superintendent told me, I said, where is Bino? Sorry in the lockups. Um, he say he drink poison, but I smelling him out and he ain't smell poison. I smelling him out and he ain't smell no poison. Well, I didn't behave well. I use some language that he understand. I said, you will personally carry him to the hospital. And when you reach there, call me and tell me. And he reach, tell me, so the doctor admit the man. And within 2 hours, the guy died. Died right in the lockups there. But thing is, if people complain of injuries, let them go and get medical assistance. And don't do like what happened. And this is a funny one that at Porrica police station, a man hung himself with his belt in the lockups. And there was this old sergeant who said, "Oh God, how can tell the officer that the man hung himself with the belt? How we get belt in the lockups? Come, 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 come." And he took him down. He took him down, take off the belt, and hung him with his pants. Yeah, and hang him with his pants, took out photographs and everything with him, hanging with his pants, you know. So they get a lot of police rascality that's going about the place. But the thing is that in terms of dealing with prisoners, if people complain that they're injury, seek medical attention. Don't like the detective assistants will tell me, hey, he say he drink poison, but I smell him out and he mouth and smelling poison. And apart from that, another thing too is that you as commanders must answer your phone. Some commanders, after some time in the evening, they don't answer the phone. I was there at 3:30 in the morning and I answered my phone and I was able to deal with the situation. Answer your phone. After 8, 9 o'clock in the night, many commanders don't answer their phone. And they say they not answer strange numbers too. That is part of the work is that you got to be disturbed and you got to answer your phone.
Well, answer your phone. Let me tell you this. I have said it before to friends. The thing that I enjoy the most when I retire is that I could have afforded not to answer phone 2, 3 o'clock and so on in the morning when I retire. Because while you are I was a commander, especially commander of Georgetown A Division. You know, if 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, the phone ring, it's some serious matter. You know, right? You know, some serious matter. So when I retired and I could afford to turn off the phone in the morning, that was the greatest joy that I had immediately after retiring. Greatest joy, greatest joy. Have to answer your phone. And those who know me then know I used to answer the first ring. And I used to insist that if a phone rings in the police environment, you answer on the first ring because you don't know what situation that person who is calling in maybe just get an opportunity to get off the call. Sometimes barely get an opportunity. Life is in danger, so answer the phone and right away. Answer the phone. Right? Answer the phone. Now, let me move on. Now, I saw what I consider a very disturbing post this morning, allegedly made by some GPF rank. This, and I would ask that, well, you know, again, they're going to listen to the messenger. They're not looking at the message. Last night, there was the Diwali motorcade. Well, I warn y'all since Friday, if you can avoid that East Coast corridor between Kitty and maybe all the way to BV or even further east, stay away, stay away. I saw somebody posting this morning, or it took them 3 hours, almost 4 hours. I warn y'all, I know I had the experience before. Because once you have the motorcade there, and thousands of people sitting, and some people parking indiscriminately to gauge the lit floats and so on, you're going to run into problem. But it culminated at the LBI Community Center ground, right? Usual place. They come down from Prashan Nagar, the Mandir, they come down. Policemen are expected to be on duty there. So policemen were on duty. And I saw this post. I'll read what the post said. The post said, this is from Guyana Express. That is police ranks humiliated by senior officer at LBI ground. This campaign requires investigation. Hear what it says. I am a constable for the Guyana Police Force. We just completed 14 hours standing duty for Diwali. And just because the woman sergeant, the name is there, I ain't call the name, couldn't find the 3 ranks that she posted, and the ASP, he named Carlton, spoke to her in a rude manner. She disrespected the ranks and the Guyana Police Force's uniform by making these ranks lay face down on the LBI center ground in front of the general population that is supposed to respect the uniform and the same citizens that we stood for 14 to 16 hours making sure that they are protected for the Diwali festival. I sincerely hope you could shine some light into this disrespect that constables have to undergo because the ship supervisors are incompetent and do not want to take responsibility. And mind you, all of these ranks were posted at different locations, and the woman sergeant only called a few that were close to her. Then they said, below is a video attached showing the ranks in full uniform, face down in the general public, which is a violation of standing order, which speaks to appearance and conduct. I saw the video is there. The video is there. And the allegation is that this woman sergeant made these ranks, police ranks in uniform. Let me read what it said. She making these ranks lay face down in the LBI Community Center ground in front of the public. I can't believe this, I can't believe that. I mean, yeah, they do something wrong. You might, as we say, you buck them up. But to put them to lie down, face down on the ground, and the video is there. The video is there. I mean, the video showing policemen in the prone position. That's what it shows. And the allegation is that the woman sergeant, made them do this. That is what you call tyrannical conduct, if it is so. Again, it's an allegation. The problem we have in Guyana, that when allegations are made, they are brushed aside, they are not properly investigated. And then the beat goes on. But if this woman sergeant did that, what is alleged, in the presence of public, whether public or not, should not have happened. But it becomes even worse when you are going to do that in the presence of these people. That is why people do not respect the police. Whatever they did, how can you justify that? 14 to 16 hours, I am told to 14 to 16 hours. Why should ranks be on duty 14 to 16 hours? I understand, again, the incompetence of these people is that they posted the ranks very, very early. All right, you might got to take the ground early. But if you're going to post ranks early, you have to have some arrangement for them to be relieved. You can't expect that people are going to be 14 to 16 hours on duty and still remain alert. 14 to 16 hours standing and still remain alert. And then if you're going to ask the question, I'm sure if they're there for that time, whether they had refreshments and all of that. These are the things. When people are posted on duty for any length of time, you have to consider their welfare. If you really want them to be to work properly, you have to consider their welfare. Water, some snack or something like that. An arrangement like that at with all them thousands and thousands of people, you ought to have established some type of a little outpost where they can come, sit down, get something to eat, and they can rotate. Take a half an hour off their foot, sit down. But they don't consider them thing. They believe in this beast you're dealing with. So you post them on duty and get them there for all them. We have toilet facilities and all of that. Right? I remember organizing for Cricket World Cup 2007 with ranks having to work long hours. We had what we call a breakout area. A breakout where they can go under supervision. The supervisor will say you go to the breakout area for hours to eat something, use the bathroom, and so on, relax and think. Breakout area. You can have ranks on duty all them long hours, and then cater. How are they going to be alert and effective all them time? That reminds me of the policeman Gilbert, who was at the security advisors. I can't remember his name now. They say he was advisor to Shooter Scoot Ben. The rank was on duty for 16 hours with an assault rifle, and it is alleged that when the man come home and find the man sleeping, he take out the video and post it on social media. 16 hours, and then we learned following up there. Some just 16 is easy. Men is on duty for 24 hours, 30 hours with assault rifle. And what they do, they would spin around and carry meals to them. These are ranks on the TSU. Spin around, carry meals to them. Ranks complain that some type of food they cook. For example, when they cook chow mein, by the time it gets to them, it's sour. It's sour. They can't eat it. And you telling people, that man said, look, Lokesh, everything, I don't make up things, As talk about the breakout area and Lokesh is saying it, that is true. I worked 2 Cricket World Cup at the Guyana National Stadium. The 2 Cricket World Cup, if you work in the first two, 2007 and 2010, I was in charge of the security. Breakout area, very, very important, with all the facilities, something water to drink, some sandwiches, snacks, and so on. Some way for people to take the weight off the feet. Those things have to be considered. But you have a motorcade last night ending at the LBI Community Center ground, and ranks are complaining 14 to 16 hours, and then this sergeant, they are claiming, behave in a tyrannical manner, get them like face down in the ground, face down, when everybody else is around there, in uniform, face down, right? I wonder if this is one of the vision sergeants. I wonder if one of the vision sergeants that the president promoted early August this year. One if one of them, right? One if one of them. But you see that yeah, you said the right thing, because it is clear that the ranks who would have complied are disciplined people. They are disciplined people. Because many ranks I know will tell us, "Oh, me, I'm not doing that." Yeah, Ari Gill is a person who took out the video, who's alleged to have taken out the video, and then put it there, with the police sleeping with an AK-47 TSU uniform, and he claimed that he was there 16 hours when that video was taken, and he didn't come off immediately, right? Yeah, because some people, I don't know what type of training these people get, because once you are a supervisor, and a supervisor is sometimes you get a one single yam skin, I want shape all up, you got to supervise people. You got to always take care of the welfare of the people below you. You have to, yes, Arul, I can well imagine. Well, let me say, monkey knows which limb for jump on. Monkey knows which limb for jump on, because I am sure that the sergeant wouldn't have carried that nonsense to some people. She wouldn't have tied it to certain people, because they would have told you where to get off. They would have told her where to get off, right? But I saw the video, Gary. Investigate, this thing should be properly investigated. I say, OPR investigating. That person, if it is found that the allegation is true, does not deserve to wear any stripe at all. Not one, not two, definitely not three. Definitely not three. Let me bring Mr. Conway, and he's gonna obviously on this allegation of tyrannical conduct on the part of a senior subordinate officer. CC?
Yeah, Paul. I did my own investigation after I'd seen the video, and my investigation revealed that they said they took the ground early as 9 in the morning, and they flood the area with policemen. They didn't say it's a face thing, or they rotate people. That people who went there at 9 in the morning, late in the night, they are still there. No, they had no rest facilities. They had no meals, anything. Just hey, we get it. What the thing? I gotta come and make sure that everything alright. It's get confusion and that was the kind of attitude there. No real planning, no real the, no feelings for the person there. 9 o'clock in the morning, they don't take the ground, and way late into night till after midnight, persons were still working there. And some people, what we say, some people shot, some people disappear, gone their own way. So when they get these big functions, then they need to ensure that proper things. And then come back to the point too. They had a operation order. Did they look at the operation order? Huh? I wonder if they had an operation order. IIMAC. Information, intention, method, administration, communication. IIMAC. I want that's how you do the police work. When you have these functions, you do a special order or operation and order, and using the IIMAC information, what's going to happen, and that information also is a risk. You do a risk analysis, the intention, what you intend to do, your method of operation, your administration, who would do what responsibility together, and your communication. I don't know what happened there, but then the mayor looking at the video was sickening. Was sickening to see them lying down there, to see they doing something like a little push-ups or some kind of nonsense going on about the place. It was uncalled for. But we can hear, oh, OPR is investigating. Full stop.
All right. No, I wanted to make the point about an order, special order, information. Y'all talk about your pen, especially the policemen and so on. Talk about information, right? The information would have been the annual Diwali motorcade will blah 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 blah, and you got this thing at the LBI Community Center. That's the information. Whoever attending, president attending, blah 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 blah. That is the information. You're gonna put it out there. What is happening? Then you go to the intention. What is the intention of the order? The intention is to ensure, general thing, that the activity is conducted in an orderly, peaceful manner. That's the broad thing. That is the intention. Then the method, how you're going to do that. You're going to have fixed points. You're going to have patrols. You're going to have that. That is the method. What method you're going to use to achieve the aim of the order. Then administration can deal with them. Same thing we talk about food and them type of thing. Snacks and so on, water. Administration, right? Who in charge? Where they're gonna be? Communication. How you're communicating on the ground. And then something like this, you have your various commanders. You have the bronze commanders. You have a silver commander. You have the gold commander. They got to learn these things. So, for example, when we talk about bronze, several bronze commanders. You got a bronze in charge of traffic, or can you have several bronze if you sectionalize it? So you have bronze commanders, bronze in charge of general duties, bronze in charge of maybe CID. You have those people who are on the ground in charge of these various areas. Then you have a silver commander. So you would have had, or you ought to have had an outpost, given the number of persons that you're expected there. You have to have an outpost somewhere where you have a proper command center established, proper command center. And that the person in charge there is the silver commander. It's a mass gathering. So you're going to have co-located people from the emergency services, ambulance people, fire people. All of those people are there on the ground in the command center. And then you have your gold commander somewhere remote, maybe the commissioning office, somebody somewhere at headquarters. That is how you got to do it. That is how it has to be done. And I hope you are taking note, So don't come and, again, I repeat, things under normal circumstances, we would have come to you in some formal setting and we would have lectured to you and we would have showed you how this type of thing is done. I used to do that. Operational order. I used to lecture and prepare operational order. But we are now person non grata, so we're using this medium to make sure the information is there. And the information, even though it is widely circulated, is not nothing that is secret or so be classified, right? That got to be classified. So let me understand what the thing should be. But again, I say, given that allegation that is made about how the constables, at least 3 of them, were treated by this female sergeant, it warrants a proper investigation. It warrants a proper investigation. All right, let me move on. We told you there was a report, a media post, that the non-existent police commission, service commission reinstated Assistant Commissioner Khalil Pazram to duty. I said non-existent because the records will show that the previous police service commission, headed by Bishop Finley, commenced in May 2022. And then according to the Constitution, the life is for 3 years. So it would have ended in May 2025, and it's automatic. President does not have to make a proclamation like he has to make for the convening of Parliament. It's automatic. The instrument that would have been given to the commissioners then, and including the chairman, would have stated that 3 years, right? Now, I understand that recently, this chairman, who is a bishop, is going around still carrying out the functions of the Police Service Commission, illegally, unconstitutionally, carrying out function. And he is telling people that, well, the commission life will end. He's telling people that the commission life has not ended. I'm going to bring in Mr. Conway Justin. Let me show you this. This is taken from Newsroom. And if you can look carefully, this is the swearing-in ceremony of the members of the Police Service Commission, the last Service Commission. And I said from left to right is Bishop Patrick Finley. This is his name. This is here. President is sitting there. And this is the man in charge of protocol, Francis Abraham. Then the second person is Ernesto Chuafat, a member of the commission. And then the third person is Mark Conway, right? They are here on this article is dated the 31st of May, 2022, and they're taking the oath of office as members of the Police Service Commission. Now, the fourth member, the article says, Akim Mohammed, was not present at that time and took the oath of office at a later stage, right? Now, once this oath was administered to the police, those three members, and the fourth member subsequently, they started to do the work of the Police Service Commission. We pointed out on Speaking Out that the Police Service Commission could not be lawfully and fully constituted according to the relevant article in the Constitution, because it says that in addition to the four, you have to have the chairman of the Public Service Commission, and then, so it's five. The four that go through the process, those three that I showed you there, and the fourth man who was absent, and the chairman of the public service. We said it here. They went ahead in 2022, and they made promotions early July 2022, right? I think July 1 or the last day in June, they made promotions. And again, we said that that was unconstitutional and illegal. Anil Nandalal, the Attorney General, jumped out because Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford had taken it up and said, look, these people are not, the commission could not be properly constituted in the absence of the chairman of the Public Service Commission. Nandalal take it up. He said, Ford falling slow and Conway, who went no lie, and etc. So the matter was taken to court. The matter was challenged in court. And the Chief Justice ruled eventually that the Police Service Commission, as it was then, could not be lawfully constituted in the absence of the chairman of the Public Service Commission, because the Constitution is clear. You have to have four plus the chairman of the Public Service Commission, who is automatic ex officio. So there was no chairman of the public service at the time, and so therefore, as we had said, there could not be a properly constituted Police Service Commission. Chief Justice so ruled. However, the promotions that were made, the Chief Justice further went on and said that the fact that these promotions were made was to the effect, you can't affect third party, such a thing they use a doctrine, they call it the de facto doctrine. In other words, the de facto doctrine made the actions of the commission, which were unlawful and unconstitutional, they get a pass. Say, all right, we are allowed that to go, but you cannot continue to do anything on the commission until it is properly and fully constituted. That was the position. And that position remained for a long time. The chairman of the Public Service Commission, Man Iram Prasad, was not sworn in until mid-July 2023. Until July 2020, that is when the Police Service Commission became properly and fully constituted, when the chairman of the Public Service Commission was appointed. Now I understand this. I understand that it is alleged that the goodly bishop, the chessboard bishop, is now claiming that the life of that commission that he chaired started in 2023. So maybe he wants to suggest when Maniram Prasad was sworn in as the chairman of the public service, that is when the life of the Police Service Commission started. Nonsense or nonsenseness. Nonsenseness. The life of the Police Service Commission would have started when they were sworn in and when they were given an instrument, and the instrument would have stated the exact date when the life commenced, and it would tell you for 3 years. I get 2 instruments, one as the member of the Police Service Commission and a second one as the chairman of the Police Service Commission, and it says that, and I show it and change. 3 years, that's what the Constitution says. So for Finley to go about telling people now that maybe he wants to suggest that because there was no chairman of the public service until the mid-July 2023, the life of the commission, that is rubbish, rubbish. I'm gonna ask Mr. Conway to CC like read the Constitution and all the other thing. So I'm bringing CC to get this piece and I can come back to this. Because this bishop doing all of this illegal and constitutional, ungodly acts, man has no credibility, absolutely no credibility. He ain't got no shame. And that is consistent with being a part of the PPP. As Brother Lincoln Lewis said, the strength of the PPP is that they have no shame. And I would have loved to be in the rum shop so I could have described the type of shame what they ain't get. It needs an adjective to describe the shame. There ain't no shame. None at all. Finley a bishop. So he been to get in park. So maybe the man still getting paid as a chairman of the Police Service Commission. Still getting, it was alleged that he had police car used to pick you up and maybe still getting all them things. I understand recently he going around the place and impersonating the chairman of the Police Service Commission. The president, can't lawfully appoint you just so. It has to go through a process as outlined in the Constitution of Guyana. That is the process that's to go through. And why we know they pay scant regards to the Constitution, at least we want to let them say that you are still the chairman of the Police Service Commission. And these matters, we got a lot of legal brains and so on. They allow these things to go. You got to take these things to court. Don't allow these precedents to be set. Take them to court. Take them to court. See? Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, Paul. This Patrick Finley, Bishop Patrick Finley, and others are masquerading. They were fiddling around the edges of the Constitution. Now they are blatantly violating the Constitution. I got a lot to say, so bear with me. Finley went to Majo on the 10th of this month. He had the secretary and a female. And he talked to the police about stress and other topics. The commander was there, the deputy commander was there, and others. And he made it clear to them. He's saying that the Police Service Commission was constituted on the 26th of July 2023, and therefore the term will end in July 2026. That's what he said. Now, let me look at the Constitution. I have it before me in terms of the composition of the commission. And Allow me, let me read a bit about it. Article 210, 1, it says, the Police Service Commission shall consist of a chairman appointed by the president, acting after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition, from among members appointed under subparagraph C. B. The chairman of the Public Service Commission. And C. 4 members appointed by the president upon nomination by the National Assembly after it has consulted such bodies as appear to it to represent the majority of members of the police force and any other such body it deems fit. And listen to this one. 210.2. Subject to the provision of the next following paragraph, the office of an appointed member of the Police Service Commission shall become vacant at the expiration of 3 years from the date of his or her appointment, or at such earlier time as may be specified in the instrument by which he or she is appointed. So let me put things in proper perspective. That the Police Service Commission must have 5 members. 4 on recommendation made to Parliament and what the select committee sent to the president. And among these 4, he will select a leader. So you have 4 members plus whosoever is the chairman of the Public Service Commission. 5, you must get 5 for it to be properly constituted. And also, according to the same constitution, let me read it again, subject to the provisions of the next following paragraph, the office of an appointed member of the Police Service Commission shall become vacant at the expiration of 3 years from the date of his or her appointment and such other time as may be specified in the instrument by which he or she was appointed. Bishop Patrick Finley, Chugofat, or Nestor Chugofat, and Mark Conway were appointed on the 31st of May 2022 by the president. The 3 of them. The second such appointment was the 2nd of July, where you have Hakim Mohammed. And the last appointment, Maniram Prashad, till the next year, 26th of July 2023. Let me go for Patrick Finley, Ernesto Strongofat, Mark Conway on the 31st of May 2022. On the 2nd of July the same year, Hakim Mohammed was appointed. And then the next year, Muniram Prasad, 26th of July 2023. So if you do the little addition and subtraction, right now, and according to the constitution that I read, 210.2, that it will expire 3 years after they were sworn or they were appointed. 3 years after they were appointed. So the Finley, Fongafat, and Conway appointed on July 2022. So the 3 years done. The 3 years done. Hakim Mohammed on the 2nd of July, 3 years done. And according to the instrument, I have my instrument here that was signed by David Granger. And here it says, in the exercise of the powers conferred upon me by Article 210(1)(c) of the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Ireland, I appoint Clinton Andrew Conway to be a member of the Police Service Commission upon his nomination by the National Assembly, after consultation with such bodies as appeared to it to represent the majority of members of the police force and other such body. And here this important one. And that he shall hold such office as a member for a period of 3 years, commencing from the date of his instrument. So Finley, Fongafat, Conway, 3 years pass. The office become vacant according to the constitution. Hakim Mohammed, 3 years done, and his office has become vacant. Manram Prasad still gets up to July next year. Now, for this service commission to function, there must be 5 members. 5 members. They came and they did promotions, and Hakim Mohammed was not appointed a member. Therefore, all they do, all the action that they take is null and void, is unconstitutional. I remember there was a challenge by Aubrey Norton where we challenged the legality of the Service Commission because they only had 4 persons and they didn't swear the chairman of the Police Service Commission. And the Chief Justice rule, Chief Justice rule in in the matter at in paragraph 116.6 in our rule. So it says, it is hereby disclosed, it's hereby declared that in order for the Police Service Commission to exercise any power, functions, or other duties conferred on it by the Constitution of Guyana, it's a mandate requirement that all 5 members must be appointed. In 20 last year December, Mark Conway died. So far, he has not been replaced. Therefore, the Police Service Commission get 4 people. Get 4. And the Constitution says the leading the ruling of Chief Justice said they must get 5. So when Finley and others going about the place and promoting people, they are violently breaching the Constitution. It must have 5. And even when they were making promotion in 2022, Maniram Prasad was not appointed. He was not appointed. Therefore, the action that they took is illegal and a breach of the Constitution. But Finley continued to go about the place, talking to police and making pronouncements. He said that contrary to what people saying, that is not properly constituted. He, according to his reckoning, they have the lifespan until 2023. Right now, the Service Commission get 4 people. The Chief Justice said they must get 5. And they cannot, I mean, read it. It's hereby declare that in order for the Police Service Commission to exercise any power, functions, or other duties conformed on it by the Constitution of Guyana, it is mandatory, it's a mandatory requirement that all 5 members must be appointed. So what Finley and them doing? They're masquerading and they're messing around in a big time way with the Constitution. They are not, I repeat, Finley, Fongafat, and Hakim Mohammed are not members of the Police Service Commission. Their term came to an end after 3 years. You're dead on Article 210.2. If you don't want to, then go and read it. But I want to know, where are the guardians of the constitutions? Where are the guardrails of the Constitution? These people are being allowed to do their own thing, breaching the Constitution. And if, according to the Constitution, Article 94, the president can be removed from office if he breaches the Constitution or commits any act of misconduct, gross act of misconduct. But here it is, Finley and others, Fongafat and Hakim Mohammed, are breaching because they're making appointments, they're making promotion, they're dealing with disparate matters, and they're removing people from office when the term of office has expired. But you got to blame the government too, because the government ain't get foresight. They no strategic plan. They know that this storm will end. On did you know that the storm will end and they're not making anything? Conway there since December last year. Nobody appointed to fill the thing, and they still performing the duties. I repeat myself for the circumstances. They must get 5 people according to the rule of procedures. 5. They only get 4, and they still may performing duties. The Chief Justice said that they cannot perform any functions of the Police Service Commission over to the Supreme Legal Advisor of the government of Guyana. I want to hear what you're going to say in relation to this matter.
All right, good. Well said. Well, let me say this. You know, I just look at the crystal ball and I can anticipate what they would want to do. The crystal ball tells me that. Now, in terms of the Finley, Chuafat, Akim Mohammed, right? If you remember, let me show the picture again. This picture was taken on the 31st day of May 2022. Finlay being sworn, Chuafat being sworn, Mark Conway being sworn. And then they told us Akim Mohammed wasn't present and he was sworn at a later time. Now, according to the Constitution, the life begins at the date of the instrument. The date of the instrument. Let me understand it clearly, students. The date of the instrument does not necessarily have to be the date that you were sworn in. They were sworn in on the 31st or thing, and therefore, their instruments, I am sure, would have had that date, because you can't swear them in the 31st and put the instrument at a future date. In the case of Akim Mohammed, who was sworn at a later date, I rather suspect that his instrument would have had the same date of these people. Because the Constitution says that the 3 years begins from the date of the instrument. So I am arguing that the Finlay, Chuafat, Mark Conway, and Akim Mohammed, the instrument that they received would have had the same date. So therefore, their life in the commission would have started on the around the 31st of May 2022. And if I can still count for 3 years, it means around the 31st of May 2025, the life would have ended. Now, as the Chief Justice ruled, as we had suggested, even though they got their instruments, according to the Constitution, the commission then was not properly constituted in the absence of the chairman of the Public Service Commission. So it was not until Maniram Prasad was sworn in as the chairman of the Public Service Commission that the Police Service Commission became properly constituted. Let me understand this clearly. It was not until then. And let me tell you how they just give away themselves. Remember in July of this year, in the lead up to the elections, the president said he had a vision. And the vision led him to the police environment, where he announced that promotions are going to be made. And they went ahead and they claim about 22,800 promotions. According to the Constitution, promotions from the rank of promotion to the rank of Lance Corporal, Corporal, and Sergeant, those promotions are done by the Commissioner of Police, right? Promotion from the rank of Inspector to Assistant Commissioner is done by the Police Service Commission. Police Service Commission. That is what the promotion is done by the Police Service Commission. Now, when the president had this vision, they made promotions. By that time, by July, the life of the commission had ended. Then they went and they unconstitutionally say they're promoting inspectors and some other ranks and so on. And what did Ikin say? The Commissioner of Police, the extended squatter. He claimed that the Police Service Commission had made those promotions early in the year. That's what he said. Had made them. So if it is, there is tacit admission that they knew that the life of the commission had ended. Because why are you saying, or why did you say that the police commission had made the promotions before May? That's what they said. You see, I tell you, I like when they talk, I like when they write. Because when you analyze it, you see how stupid they are. Because if, as Finley is now saying that the life of the police service commission is still alive, then there was no need for you to say that they had made the promotion. All they have to do is meet and make promotion. Because you're arguing that they're still alive, right? So I'm saying when they come and they talk these things, you love that. I love it. I love when they write. I love when they talk because I can analyze it and I can tell you students and most of you, all of you here, one of them that's come as cockroach, are reasonable people. And therefore you can reason these things out for yourself. Again, I say, if as Finley is now arguing or as just suggesting that the Police Service Commission is still alive until 2026. Why, when the promotions were made in early August to the rank of inspector and above, y'all said that the promotion had been made before May 2025. Tell me that. Tell me that. Tell me that. Because as I've said, if it is that the commission was still alive and functioning, there was no need for you to say that. There was no need for you to say that. But you said that because you were aware that the Police Service Commission life had ended. And if you were to say that the promotion was for a current date, then you are clear that you are violating the Constitution. So you sought cover by saying that the promotions were made at a date when the Police Service Commission was still alive. That is the thing. You know, as I said, logics and reasoning don't come easy to these people. They just talk off the top of the head. They're not strategic, they're not tactical, they just talk. Right? Big lamp. Nyland Welch said, big lamp and no oil. Big lamp and no oil. So this thing of Finley running around the place, I know again I say, you know, this man's supposed to be a religious man. He is supposed to be a bishop, a man of the cloth, a man of the Bible. He must get a flock where he go and teach people, telling them they mustn't lie, they mustn't cheat, they mustn't commit adultery, they mustn't do all sorts of things. You can tell them about the 10 commandments. And here it is, this man lying his ass off. Right? Lying his ass off. How more ungodly can they be, man? How more ungodly? And you know what the Bible said? Those who know the master's will and does it not, y'all Christian, you're gonna know the rest. You know the master's will and you do it not, you do it not. What gonna happen to you? Right? And that is why people lose faith in some of these religious people. People lose faith in them because they're not living the life, they're not living a Christian life. They call themselves Christians, but they're more sinful than many of us. And they call themselves Christians. They're supposed to be the leaders who're supposed to lead by example. And that is what they're doing. Because if you are a true Christian and a true believer, you have to have integrity. And if you are being asked or told to do something that is wrong, you have to stand up. You have to stand up. You can't, your Christian training will tell you, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. That is what your Christian training should tell you. But they tell you the Christian, then they go, as they say, I can't love in there, not love in there, sing, they're one day Christian. Love in there sang a song. They are one day Christian. Sunday, when they go to church, they're a Christian for that day. But all the rest of the days, they do all kind of ungodly things, commit all kind of sin, and then they go to church on Sunday, they ask for forgiveness and believe that is how it works. So you do the gods from Monday to Saturday, and then you go to church on Sunday, and you go and you kneel down and you ask for forgiveness and you say all is forgiven and you start back again the next day doing the wrong things. Can't work so. Can't work that way. Cannot work that way. Cannot work. Let me bring in CC for his closing and then for final remarks and closing. And then, we can't left without telling you about Parliament. So I'm going to, as a matter of fact, I should not get closing. CC, let me go ahead and make some comments. And I'll call you for close a little later. But I want to give you the opportunity to comment on the story at Parliament as well. So go ahead.
Yeah, but let me just close off with this service commission. And try to make it very simple. According to the Constitution 210, Article 210, 1 and 2, they must have 5 members. 4 nominated by the Parliament, sent to President to approve, choose a chairman, and the chairman of the Public Service Commission. 5. I also say that the appointment is a 3-year zone. 3 years, it becomes vacant after 3 years from the date they receive their instrument. Finally, Fongofat Hakim Mohammed, the term, the 3 years done. Mark Conway died. The Service Commission made many promotions and other interventions in 2022 and part of 2023 when Manram Prasad was not there. Therefore, that is illegal. The Chief Justice say they got to get 5, and if they get 5, it must put on a pause. It must put on pause until you get 5 members, then they fully, properly constituted. But they're doing their own thing. And I know when they can convene Parliament, but there's another big issue. And somebody saying, will there be secret voting to appoint the leader of the opposition? We hear Jackie Opel demo the place, and they're going to choose somebody, not Mohammed, who the PPP wants. Jackie Opel there, and he pocket full. So look out, and don't be surprised if or when Parliament is reconvened, I think before the 2nd, that you'll hear secret voting to appoint the leader of the opposition.
Now, let me say this. According to what they're saying, is that according to the Constitution, the president has 4 months from the time the 12th Parliament was dissolved to make a proclamation for the commencement of the 13th Parliament. According to what them say, that's supposed to be on or before the 3rd of November. So we're just about 2 weeks away from that. We're just about 2 weeks. I am convinced, given all that is taking place, that the only reason for the delay in the proclamation, and I understand it, is not unconstitutional because they get a window up to the 3rd of November. But it is my view that the only reason for the delay in the proclamation is because of the win factor, the we invest in nationhood and Azzuddin Mohammed. Right? Because again, in case you don't know by now, everybody should know. PP, they say, get 36 seats. When we invest in nationhood, 16. UPNU, 12. And Forward Ghana Movement, 1. So there's 16 and 12, 28 and 1, 29 opposition seats, and the 36 that the PPP get. Right? The procedure is, let me repeat that to y'all, according to what the Constitution says. Once the proclamation, President should make a proclamation appointing a date, time, and place for the commencement of the new Parliament. It has to be done by proclamation from the President. According to the Constitution, he has up to the 3rd of November. Either the 2nd or the 3rd. Now the last said the 3rd. I'm gonna take the 3rd. He has that, which is 2 Mondays from now. Now, the story is, once that is done, right, Parliament is convened. I understand that the first order of business, all members of Parliament or elected are going to be there. They got to get a speaker. Then after the speaker, they got to get a deputy speaker. We don't know who's going to be the speaker. It's a majority vote, and therefore whoever the PPP want to be a speaker, they're going to be the speaker. Whoever they want to be the deputy speaker, that person is going to be the deputy speaker, because they have 36 votes. The convention was that somebody from the opposition will get the deputy speaker's position. Up to the last Parliament, it was felt that that deputy speaker position would have gone to the opposition with the largest block of MPs, largest block, that would have been the APNU. And they decide, well, the constituency largest block, so they give them to the China party. And Schumann, one man, he come, he get it. Then what happened? Asha Kisoon, it was some arrangement to get for it to be shared about between among vendors of the China party. Asha Kisoon go in there, and she said she ain't moving. She's not moving. So the 3rd person never got an opportunity to go there. Now, this time around, they got 16, 12, and 1. Right? They do not want Azuddin Mohammed to be the leader of the opposition. They don't want. They don't want. And that is the reason why they're delaying. Because it is rumored, it is alleged that they're hustling to get people from the opposition to vote for someone other than Azuddin Mohammed to be the leader of the opposition. That's what they're doing. So that's what they delay. They're negotiating. Or as one man used to say, Patrick, you gonna know the man. The man used to say, the screaming skull. He used to say that they're negotiating. They are negotiating, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that when they got there, somebody else is put. Because once, I omit to mention this part, once the members are sworn in, you got a speaker, deputy speaker, and all the members are sworn in. Then the speaker is supposed to call a meeting of the opposition members, the 29 opposition members only. He will chair that meeting, but he cannot vote, he or she, whoever is the speaker. And at that meeting, they will elect a leader of the opposition. And the question was asked, because all of a sudden on the East Coast in Region 4, the REO and them decide that the ballots will be secret ballots. So you can't know who can pay, you can't know who vote for whom, you can't know. So all is part of the corrupt process, because if it is that the ballot is not secret, then people might be reluctant to vote a particular way. Those people who are offered money gonna be reluctant because people gonna know who they vote for. But if you give them money, if you offer them money, and you decide to manipulate the thing somewhere, it's gonna be now, it's gonna be secret ballots that might embolden people. All the inhibitions might be removed, and they're gonna vote. So that when you count them, you say, well, this body, or you can't know is who is or who are the traitors. Understand this game? That's what me crystal ball saying. They're gonna come and they're gonna decide, well, we want secret ballot. Because remember, even if people collect the money, even if they offer money, as we understand they're doing, right? When the time comes for vote, you're all they're squeezing, because you know man gonna take your money and decide that you're voting how you want it to vote. So you don't know. So the safe thing to do, what they want to do to protect the traitors. They haven't announced that, so they haven't said so. But I am saying that my crystal ball says that when the time comes, they're going to decide secret ballot. And that is what is going to sway those persons. Because they're going to come out openly and say, I voting against this body, I vote. Yeah, man. So why is a secret ballot? Oh, God. Jackie Opel singing there. You got to pay. Jackie Opel will be in the thing. And I say this again. There are many considerations. Azadin Mohammed would have to be sworn in as a member of the party. That is the will of the people. You're talking about the rule of law. The will of the people said, I want Azadin Mohammed in parliament. That is the system that we have. They want the Win party in parliament. And he's the head of the Win party. They want him instead of be there. Are you going to refuse to swear him in? If he is sworn in, how long would you going to take to convene this meeting of the opposition to elect the leader of the opposition? How long are you going to take? The Constitution, I don't think, specifies the time. How long are you going to take? In the meanwhile, you're hoping that Azadin Mohammed, because now we are no armed to this extradition arrangement, because I believe that by now, Azadin Mohammed and his father haven't been indicted by the U.S. grand jury. I believe that by now, the people would have moved to make a request for him to be extradited, for them to be extradited to the U.S. 3 weeks or something like that, and no request has been made. Rather strange. So once that request is made, then the people in Guyana, law enforcement, they got to act. They have to act. Got to go through a process. And well, where he is the rule of law, he has already indicated that he's going to mount a legal battle, which likely to drag out. Do they have the patience for that? Or they're going to just pick you up for this extradition proceedings, and then the next thing you know, he's rendered to the U.S. All of these things that you have to look at. They are in big trouble in terms of what to do. They don't know what to do. That is the problem. All they know is that they don't want Azadin Mohammed. Because, some of them said that Azadin Mohammed being the leader of the opposition doesn't grant him immunity. Correct. It doesn't grant him immunity. It doesn't grant him immunity from any charge, whether locally or outside. Doesn't grant him immunity. But they're looking at the parliamentary configuration. They're looking at that. And they didn't want him to run in the first place, because he said that they told him that if he withdraws, some of the charges he get and go away. That is what he alleged. And he insisted he can run. And he ran, and his party upset the card, largest bloc in the opposition. All of them considering what to do next. This man is a headache. This man get we shit in buckets and black tanks. We don't know what to do. But, as I've said, look at several of the things, whether they're going to decide that they're Iranian, or whether it's Iranian and they're calling the meeting for the leader of the opposition. And in all of this, where is he going to be at that time? Because if he end there in Guyana, he can't swear in. If he end a free man, he might not be able to swear him in. Do you understand? But I think we get like about 2 weeks more. So get your Cokes, get your popcorn. So those of you like me, get something stronger and sit back and watch the ride. Get something stronger, sit back and watch the ride. Let me bring Mr. Conway for his closing, and then we're going to tell you going forward what will happen. CC, your closing, please.
Yeah, you said it all, Paul, and I agree with you. So many issues. Time will tell. This morning I didn't shout out two important persons, especially one, Mr. Lloyd Alvin Smith. I met him at the viewing for Tapping funeral, and we had a lengthy discussion. And there's a man, one of my mentors, a man I have the highest regards for. He's highly impressed with the program. Paul, he said to tell you, keep up the good work. No surrender, no retreat. And he has been a source of inspiration to me as I move up in the Guyana Police Force. I want to thank him. And he also made a contribution to the program. And it is a nice thing when you can give from some of the little that you have. But then I read the Bible and it says sometimes there's more happiness in giving than in receiving. So thank you, Mrs. Smith, for your words of encouragement, your words of inspiration. And I know you're a churchman, your words of inspiration and for the contribution to the program.
Right. Thank you for that, my brother. Thank you very much. Folks, we've had a long morning. Again, enjoy the remainder of this holiday in Guyana, Diwali. Tonight is the lighting of the Diaz. You know, people light up fancy light and so on. Be safe, because what happens then, a lot of people take their children to go out and to drive around and to see all these places that are lit up and so on. And again, those who are lighting, make sure you take safety into consideration. Those who are going to view these things, again, take safety into consideration. Safety, you must always take safety into consideration in everything that we do. Take safety into consideration. Folks, we have come to the end of today's program, Monday, the 20th day of October 2025. We are scheduled God's Spare Life to be here on Wednesday at the usual time. I'm sure we're going to have more things to tell you as we come down to the proclamation being made to convene the 13th Parliament. That is something we got to watch for. That is something we got to watch for. Also, as I've been saying to you, watch the development with Venezuela and these alleged drug smuggling vessels of Venezuela, where they get missile strikes. The last one, I think, sometime a few days ago, they said there were 2 survivors. And, you know, it is interesting, you got to look to. CARICOM issued a statement in relation to all that is going on with the military buildup and so on. And they're claiming all the CARICOM countries except Trinidad and Tobago. Watch what's going on. Y'all watch the ride. Watch the ride. Watch what is going on. Right? Watch what is going on. Be safe. And God's Spare Life, we're going to come again on Wednesday for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, stay well. Bye.